And which way? This is the African history class. Are you ready?
Fire, fire, fire.
So my name is Blakk Rasta. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. This is 92.7 in Living Stereo. It is your urban lifestyle radio. We are transmitting live and colored from Addis Ababa, right in the premises of TV3. And you know how we do it every Friday? We have a beautiful interview with somebody that you want to listen to. And our interviews are crunchingly hot. And today, we have had an interview that has eluded us for far so long. Professor Ransford Edward Van Gyampo is right here in the house. Now, last week, we had a conversation, and in the Blackport, we spoke a little bit about Professor Gyampo. And we basically were talking about a comment that was made by Koku Anyidoho, who said, oh, Professor Gyampo right now is no more talking about Galamsey, and is no more talking about, what is it called? UTAG, because he's quiet. He's been given a post, and we made it clear that nobody should go out there and just criticize because they are called critics. For all you know, Professor Gyampo has tabled down a few things and is watching how things are going to be turning out. My brother, my sister, and of course we had Professor Gyampo call into the show, and we had a brief interaction. Today we're going to have a longer interaction. It's going to be a very beautiful interaction, and trust me, a lot of issues are going to come up. Spread the word. This is the African history class. Prof, I'm happy you made it. Thank you so much for accepting to talk to us.
Yeah.
I must say that I'm a very strong fan of Professor Ransford Gyampo, and this is the first time we are actually meeting. Prof, walk me through your upbringing. What's your upbringing like? Where were you born? Who were you born to? Where? And
I thought you were going to make a brief comment also about what happened the last time.
We'll go into it. Yes.
Particularly with respect to some insinuations that you made that got me a bit uncomfortable and disappointed. And,
okay.
So I'm hoping that as the program progresses,
yes, certainly we'll get there. We'll
comments about that, because, like you said, it's the first time we've met, and people know you from outside, and they don't know who you really are from inside. But before I go on, I think when I was coming in here, I called a Rastaman friend.
Okay.
And I asked that I'm coming here. What does he want me to say?
Wow.
In Patois.
Wow.
And so he sent me something.
Awa.
Me name Ransford Gyampo.
Awa.
Me happy fideya. Fit talk about me country Ghana in myself.
Awa.
Me I fit deal with bombo clad people. Me no afraid nobody.
Fire, fire, fire.
I said it right.
Oh my God. Now, if anybody had told me that you could say these words so wonderfully in patois like that, I would say no. Wow. But are you a fan of patois and reggae music?
Sometimes. I don't understand, but I love reggae.
You said it like I would have said it on radio. Whoa.
I love Bob Marley. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. You say, ooh, yeah. Oh,
And that's my sick tune, Yes, my sick tune almost every time I'm on radio. All right, Prof, let's get on track. I mean, where were you born, when, and to who?
I was born in Accra here, in Osu. My parents, the late Bismarck Gyampo, and then my mother is Mabel Ghani. I'll be 48 years on 31st March.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were born on 31st March,
Yeah, 1977. Yes.
Oh, wow. Interesting. So, I mean, what work did your father do and your mother as well? What were they into?
No, my father was, he worked as an accountant at a TUC, and then he was the top security aide of the FWK Akufu, a former head of state of Ghana. And so when Jerry Rawlings came to stage a coup to oust the Supreme Military Council II in 1979, he had to flee the country because he said he told Akufu that Akufu, let's leave. And Akufu says he's not done anything wrong.
Wow.
So he left on political asylum to the UK, and he said 3 days after he's left, Akufu was arrested and shot.
Wow.
And so he went to sojourn in UK for over 46 years. And when he was old, he came back to try to bond with me.
Wow.
And he said he was coming to die here. He stayed here. Dev didn't come. He went back to London and went to die there.
Oh,
so I had to go there to bury him because he had told me that wherever he dies, I should bury him there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
How did the academics come into you? Were you right from the start interested in academia?
No, I went to academia because of poverty and because I didn't know who to take care of me. I never planned to become a lecturer. I never set out to become a lecturer growing up. I know that when I was done with first degree, I realized I was too young to go into the world of work. And so I had to do masters. But masters, I had schools that were willing to give me scholarship. But I know I had a Canadian school, for instance, they had paid for everything, but I had no money to go and undertake the medical lab tests that they wanted me to do. Even monies to pay for references was difficult to come by. And so I decided that I was going to do my master's in Ghana here. I needed 200 cedis to be able to pay my school fees then. I called my dad. He, British, somebody who has become a British. I called him, he said I'm over 18 years. And that I'm disappointing him for asking him 200 cedis because in Britain, if you are 18 and over, you are supposed to be on your own.
Wow.
And so he didn't mind me. But I went to this man that he doesn't know me. He's called Mr. Nikwe. He's not dead, and so I still would always want to mention his name, Mr. Jonas Nikwe, who lives around Medina and Kwantanai area. He used to sell land, and I just bumped into him and told him that I want to go to school, continue, and I don't have money. My parents don't have money, and so he gave me 200 cedis to go pay my fees. So when I did the first year, MPhil then was 2 years. So, and it's still 2 years. But around the time, people use 3-4 years to complete the MPhil. So when I did the first year and I wanted to do the second year, I went to Mr. Nikwe again to ask for fees. And then he said, go and come. And then I went home. When I went back, he said, go and come. He did me go and come like 3-4 times, and he gave me the money.
Wow.
So I told myself that if I don't finish the MPhil within 2 years, if I extend to the third year, it will be difficult for me to pay my fees. And so that's how come I did it with all my energy. So within the record of 2 years, I was done. Those I started with, they went for extension. Some completed in 3 years and 4 years. But within 2 years, I was done. Not because I was smart, but because if I don't finish, I cannot continue.
Right.
So when I completed, then the university said, well, if you could finish your colleagues, and it's difficult for people to finish their MPhil in 2 years. And so if you have finished within 2 years, then we'll give you an appointment as a lecturer, so that within 5 years you should also commence and complete your PhD. So that's how come I got into academia. It was never a planned thing.
Interesting. And you were a first class student. I mean, when you did your first degree, political science, 1998 to 2001, first class.
Yes, first class.
Are you that smart? Are you that sharp?
I don't think so. It's been the grace of God.
Wow.
Yes. When we were growing up, I told you, so my father was never around. So your mother will call you and tell you that if you go and bring any trouble at home, know that you have nobody behind you. And so we were just careful. So for me, it's just been the grace of God. Growing up, I was never among the best students in school. You mentioned, if you look at my primary school, my secondary school and all that, I was never among the best. As a matter of fact, when I was moved from my hometown, South Pond, to Medina here in Accra, they brought me from class 2 to class 4. In class 4, when we conducted exam, there were 63 in the class. I was number 50. And so my mother asked that I be demoted from class 4 to class 3.
Wow.
I had to go to class 3 again and to move on gradually like that till I went to, I got to class 6. When I got to class 6, I was jumped from class 6 to secondary school Form 1. Around that time, I was made to join the old batch of the old system of the secondary school system. So moved from class 6 to secondary school Form 1 at Usu Salem Secondary School. It was a private. It's a private school, still there. So that's where I went to secondary school Form 1. And when I was there, I was never among the best students. I was a kid. I was not matured, but I was with them. I stayed there for Form 1, and then Form 2, I went to the best secondary school in the whole of West Africa. It's called the West African Secondary School, where the current IGP studied.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fire!
Yes, I don't see Osu Salem here.
Yes.
In your CV. I see Calvary International.
Yeah, because it was just brief. I think I went there just one term or something, then I left. It was a private school, so if you could pay the fees, then they admitted you. So I didn't go there.
Would you say
I didn't write that down. Okay.
This is the last question about your family, and then we move into something else. Would you say that you bonded well with your father? Were you ever proud of him?
My father, when he was leaving Ghana, I was 2 years old. When I saw him and I was told he was my father, I was of age. So look at it, from 1979, I saw him again, and it was around 2005. Okay, so I was already a grown-up man. And I know that I had issues with him. Okay. I was always filled with anger about him. But I remember that I was traveling with, I've forgotten the name, but she's a member of the Electoral Commission. I think the wife of a former GBA president, I've forgotten the name. We're traveling from Kumasi to Accra in her car. When I was serving as a member of the RUPAL, Representation of the People Amendment Laws Committee. And I was just telling her about how bitter I was about my father. I spoke from Kumasi to Accra. And then when we got to La Paz, he told me that God has lifted his word above his name. And so what is the word of God is powerful than even the name of God. And the word of God says you should honor your father and your mother. And so regardless of how abandoned I feel I have been, I should still honor my dad. And that was how I changed my perspective and my relationship with my dad. So I started loving him. And anytime, it was difficult. Well, my father is just, if you look at me and you think I'm cantankerous, you can look at my father. He didn't care about anything. Even when we were trying to make up, he would still make you angry. He never apologized to me, but it was up to me to find a way to make peace with him. And when I did, I enjoyed it because I loved his conversation, the fact that he would always be talking to me and be giving me advice here and there, and the bit about anytime there's a funeral, he will go with you and be showcasing or introducing you to people. It was uncomfortable, but I saw that was also his pride, even though I realized he didn't so. But we had to forgive him. And so the bit when he was old, you appreciated the saying that nipa yede nanso yenwenenam. You sit with him, he's talking to you, you want to go back home, and then you want to leave, and then he will bring another conversation.
Right.
If you want to leave, he will bring another conversation. Clearly, you could see that he didn't want you to leave his presence. And so it was very, very, very fun. The little brief times that I spent with him, I talk about him. Anytime I talk about him, and then people see how I treated him later in life, they said, but he was never there for you.
Right.
But my belief is that it was because he wasn't there, that's how come I became tough, rugged, and resilient.
In his absence, was your mother still married to him?
No, my mother never got married. She never got married. She stayed, and she's still staying.
They never got married?
No. As in, my mother never got married after my father left. Yeah. So she still stayed. And in society, even when the man was not coming, you couldn't be talking to any other person because they will remind you that you have a husband. That's true. So she had to stay. And she's still staying. I remember that when I went to university Form 1, university first year, and we came home on vacation.
Right.
One December, she called me. She said she had a conversation with me. I said, okay, go ahead. And she said, I've seen some pastor who said, she said, hey, don't tell me that. Why? I couldn't see myself. I've never lived with a father. So why was she? So I stopped her from telling me that.
Wow.
I said, I don't want to hear that. Why are you telling me that? I was so jealous. I stopped her. She couldn't carry on with that kind of conversation with me.
Oh, my God.
But she stayed all by herself. And
it must have been difficult for her.
I think I was, me and my junior brother, we were her husbands.
Wow. Professor Ransford Edward Van Gyampo, born on the 31st day of March 1977. We're having a very beautiful conversation. Now, let me take you into academia again. What would you say is the highest point for you in academia? And which one is the lowest?
I think the highest point for me in academia was just the opportunity given to me to teach and to tell my mind about issues to my students, and the fact that when I started working hard, I had mentors who told me what really mattered in academia. It's not about gossip. It's not about talking about people. It's not about even blowing political vuvuzela or always having a microphone before you and talking. In academia, it is you who promote yourself. And I was working at the IEA. I worked at the IEA for 14 years.
Wow.
And I was combining my work at the IEA whilst I was teaching. When I finished with the masters, IEA picked me first in 2004.
Right.
And then in 2005, University of Ghana also picked me. So I combined both jobs for 14 years. And the moments I enjoyed were the times that I would close at IE around 8 p.m., get to the house, eat something small, go back to the office and sit down from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. every day for 5 years.
Interesting.
Just to be able to do research and to get publications that can make me apply for promotion. I remember, whilst I was doing my PhD, my first contract with the university expired. And when it expired, you are given 6 years first contract. When it expired, I was asked to apply for extension. But to justify my application for extension, I had to show that I was progressing on the PhD that I was doing. So when I sent my CV, they just looked at my CV, and I had published a lot. So they looked at my CV and said, no, we are not only going to extend your contract, but we are asking you to apply for promotion. And for me, that was my highest moment when I was concentrating on my PhD. I was not done. And then the school itself asked, that I should apply for promotion to the rank of senior lecturer. I did, and then within 3 months, it sailed through. And for me, that was the highest, moment. I think the other highest moment was when I became I got to the rank of associate professor. I went to the lecture hall, and all the students were upstanding. I didn't even know why they were upstanding. They started clapping for me, and then asked the class rep, what is it? They said, you've been promoted to the rank of associate professor. I said, do you know this? They said they know. And I think for me, I felt proud about that.
Wow.
In terms of the lowest moment, I don't think I have had any serious lowest moment apart from when I was awoken from my sleep to be told that I lost my dad.
Wow.
I mean, that was my lowest moment. But all other things that may have happened to me in life, for me, by the grace of God, I am tough. Nothing breaks me. The only thing that broke me down was when I was told that my dad, I thought he could live a bit more longer. He died at age 87, but he was strong. And I thought we could be bonding even more for some longer time. I remember when I sent him to the airport, and he told me that if he goes, he won't come again. Indeed, he went, and he didn't come again, and that was my lowest moment. But beyond that, I take everything in my stride as a man, and I always want to see the hand of God in everything that has happened to me, whether positive or negative, because I've learned lessons from every negative thing and positive things, that have happened to me in my life.
Interesting. Professor Ransford Gyampo is my guest. He's a professor of political science at the University of Ghana, right here in Accra, Legon, to be very specific. Professor, tell me, sex for grades, were you framed?
Well, you saw everything that happened. It's a sex for grade. You didn't see me having sex with anybody, number one. And you didn't see me in that, whatever they claim. You didn't see me doing that also with a student. And so if there was no student, there was no sex. So what do you talk about why do you talk about even grade and grade changing? It was an orchestration, and I'll tell you, simply because I was the one that somebody whose name I will not mention selected as his running mate.
Wow.
Yes, and somebody around the person.
This
and
is
to be
3FM.
fair, it was not an orchestration by the current opposition. People say that it's the MPP that did that to me. No. But it was simply because I was going to be made a running mate to somebody. And my name was proposed. And somebody said, no, to prevent that, let's go through some dust into the air. By the time it is settled, the mindset of whoever was proposing me would change, and that was what happened. Then that was the reason why I went through a certain process and I was exonerated, and the university asked that I take back my job, and that was how come the university afterwards promoted me, and that was how come I contested for elections 2 times and I won, to symbolize that my own people felt that look, I was unnecessarily framed. But like I said, all these things I took them in my strides, and people keep referring to it to the point that I'm used to it. Sometimes recently I've seen that they are stopping, they are looking for other things to say. But you see, and that's the reason why I am tough, because if I hit at you, I know your response. And if it is, you are going to be responding to a failed attempt at discrediting me and all that, then I know it already. I no longer bother about it.
I am wondering why a very credible BBC would stoop that low. That is, if what you're telling me is nothing but the truth. Were you disappointed?
It was not done by the BBC. It was done by somebody in Ghana, and the person went to sell it to the BBC.
Wow.
BBC Nigeria, and so they had to do 1 or 2 instances so that it would look as if they did a credible job. If you want to talk about sex for grade, go to the other universities abroad. It happens there. It happens. That is where they do it in the proper sense of the description. And so it was not done by them. Somebody did it in Ghana and went to sell it to them. And I was the only person, I was the only reason why they did it.
Wow.
Not because of anything. They did it because of me. And I have evidence to show. I have no permission to mention some names, but those who did it and their masters, they themselves came to me and they told me. Some of them have come to apologize, and I don't put some of these things out there because I have moved on. And like I said, I rather will look at the positive sides and the lessons that I learned, and to forget about the negatives. I didn't die. I rather remain resilient. And so, if I look at what I've been through from beginning up till now, and I see some of the needless things that people do as an attempt to silence me, it becomes laughable.
This
what
is
I've been through,
3FM.
if they themselves and their paymasters had been through, they would have committed suicide. But I'm here. I am never perturbed. I am rather rugged. So I see those things as throwing a stone to hit the thigh of elephant.
Interesting. I'm going to ask 2 more questions on this and I'll be done. Did you at a point feel that you would sue BBC or something like that?
Yeah, initially that was the first thing that I wanted to do. But I upon a second thought, I decided to change my mind, especially when I got to know the real reason why this was done. And then also, how was it going to pan out? It's going to be protracted litigation. Okay, I could have done that here. I could have done that. So there were people there in the UK who wanted to do that. Don't forget, my father himself was alive and he wanted to go that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was alive. He wanted to go that route.
Wow.
But it was going to be protracted litigation. And I also wanted to have the matter properly investigated here so that I could move on. You see, the painful thing that happens to me is when I am asked to keep quiet. Okay, in all those periods, I was never worried until I had some very elderly statesmen and women calling me to say that just be quiet and allow investigations to go on. And that was what broke my heart. Okay, because I don't need money. I don't need anything. If you take money from me and you take everything from me and you leave me with my right to speak, I am comfortable. So I that was when I found myself in a certain uncomfort, because people were saying so many things,
right.
And I felt that I had to speak up my mind to also challenge the kinds of things that they were saying. But out of deference and respect to some of these elderly people, I had to just remain quiet. And I felt that a route of protracted litigation would have made them to tell me to keep quiet more. So allow the system to do its investigations and see so that you can regain your freedom to speak.
I know you love your students so much. I mean, I know that your appointment is not even stopping you from going to the class to teach and all that. How did it feel when you went into the class during this furore? I mean, there was one time we saw videos of you seemingly shedding tears when you went into the class.
Yeah.
What was that period like? What made you shed tears?
Okay, I've shed tears twice in front of my students. The first one was when I was promoted to the rank of associate professor. When they started clapping for me and I signaled my class rep asking why they were doing that, and he said that it's because we've been promoted, then tears started dropping. It was the highest moment, but then tears of joy that, oh, look at where I have come from, and then they are doing it. The second time was when the incident happened. I went to the first day I went to the lecture hall to teach. And when I got there, I greeted the students, and they responded in some thunderous manner.
Wow.
So I said, good morning. And they responded louder. And so I asked, but why this? I was standing, but the way, man, I was a bit surprised. So somebody shouted at the back, that we stand with you.
Wow.
So when the person said, we stand with you, then the rest started saying, we stand with you, we stand. So it became noisy and louder, in the lecture hall. So I was signaling them that we were not the only ones having the lectures in that place. Jones Cote building is a building of several lecture rooms. And so I was telling them, okay, they should be quiet. So when they finally remained quiet and I picked my iPad, I bent down my head and then I realized that tears were coming again, and it was because of the show of support I saw, from them. That's
this
why.
Is 3FM.
I saw the propaganda that my students hooted at me, and I was crying. No, that wasn't it. I love my students, and they love me. And I remember when the incident happened, several students coming to my house, writing to me and telling me directly and through letters that we won't do this to you, we can't do this to you, and all that. I love my students, and they love me. And the reason, just this morning, in going to the office, coming to the office at the Shippers Authority, I had to pass through my office at the Political Science Department to address a concern of a student, and I had to call some officials at the university to help. And then the woman, Susan Okan, said, Prof, your students like you, and I know you like your students too.
Right.
And it's because of some of these things that you do. Why do I say so? Every time that I got into a certain situation, you are traveling going through airports, and then you see students willing to assist you. Somebody is sick, you go to the hospital to visit the person, and then my only brother almost died. It was students, some students who were nurses who helped. First of all, we give praise and credit to God. But it was through some of these students who came in as nurses to intervene. And so, because I don't know, I see them as future policymakers, future big men and future big women. And so I don't treat them with contempt at all.
Interesting. Prof, how did you deal with your wife on this issue? Your CV says you are married with 3 beautiful children. How challenging was it convincing?
It was not challenging because everything that was happening, she knew. I showed everything to her, and so she. It was. We never quarreled about it. It was when they started. It was not something that happened. It's a long story. It's a plot that took place within a period of 3 months. I survived all the 3 months until when I felt that it was my heart. Somebody has told me before that your heart is too good, and sometimes it will land you into trouble. And so I was rather extending some magnanimity to somebody, and then they twisted things. Whatever you heard or you watched, it was voice-over narration of somebody who was talking about something that I didn't know about.
Wow.
And the things that I was the kinds of things that I was supposed to have been saying, they were all quoted out of context. It was not a monologue. It was conversation. And so somebody was saying something or saying something. Why do you bring what the other person is saying with the exclusion of what the other party was also saying? And before then, like I said, she knew everything. So we never quarreled about it. So it was.
Did BBC contact you for an interview regarding this?
When the matter broke, when they were about to air it, they contacted me, and I showed them evidence that I was ignorant. I don't know. I have not done what they said I had done. The more I explained, the more it was like they wanted to do it. So I realized that they had an agenda. So I blasted them and I told them to go to hell and to do it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Professor Ransford Edward Van Gyampo is my guest, and we're having a beautiful conversation.
This is 3FM.
That's a confirmation. My brother, my sister, now I am going to move away from this BBC thing and get into you yourself as an appointee of the President John Dramani Mahama. Did you expect that you were going to get an appointment?
No, I never expected it. I know that I've been doing my work as a political scientist. I've always told my colleagues that we know the dogmas of politics. We teach politics. And so if we teach politics, we should be able to bring our perspectives and knowledge to bear on what happened in the nation in the conduct of politics. So because of that, I have taken on regimes from J. Kufuor through Prof. Samuels to John Mahama to Akufo-Addo. And so I was doing my work as a political scientist. In the case of Akufo-Addo, I know I've been very much of a severe. In fact, I was harsher in criticizing John Mahama than even Akufo-Addo.
Wow.
Because John Mahama, I'll tell you that when he was looking for power, I didn't vote for him. Okay, I voted to support Akufo-Addo, and I said, look, if I could drive from from here to my hometown Sopon and to vote for you, then you better be a very good candidate. And I had a lot of expectations, for him. And when he came and I realized that the appointment, I realized that the performance was shambolic and abysmal, I couldn't help it and to take him on. And so I think in the process of doing that, people were also listening to me. And so they felt that when we held elections were held and then power changed and people started calling me to congratulate myself. Congratulating me for what? I was doing my work. I was not doing anybody's bidding. And the way I was created, I cannot do the bidding of anybody. I do my own bidding.
Interesting. Well, I mean, some people in this house and even outside this house, they think that Mahama is going to sack you anytime soon because they believe that you're going to speak the same way that you don't do the bidding of anybody, and politicians don't like that. They always want you to align with them. Are you going to be sacked anytime soon?
I'm not appointing authority. And so that one, it's, I believe President Mahama saw something in me. That's why he gave me the nod. And that those things you may have seen in me, they are still there. And I've explained, to your media house. I think there was what do they call it? Hot issues. Okay, and I explained that, you see, anytime we don't talk for the sake of it. Okay. We talk for influence. If you see me or hear me talking, it means I want a certain solution. When I was working at the IEA, we prided ourselves for influencing or shaping public policy by using all means possible to ensure that we get appointees or policymakers to change courses of action, particularly when they are doing things that are wrong. And we use every means. Sometimes you do it behind the scenes, sometimes you do it publicly. Right. Now, if you hear me speaking publicly, it means avenue for me to speak privately are blocked.
Right.
Okay? But if they are opened, I don't do things, I'm not an eye service person.
Right.
You do things so that you be seen. I don't believe in that. And so President Mahama appointed me. And by the grace of God, I have access to him. Okay? I have access to people around him. I have access to appointees. Recently, I know you may bring the conversation about Galamsey. I'm very much ready. You see, the naysayers, you should let them know that I'm smarter than them. Okay? Most of them, I taught them. So before they think, I have taught. We'll talk about that. But recently, there was an issue. UTAG wants something to be done and blah, blah, blah. And they contacted me. And I called the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. I said, hey, do this, don't do this, don't do that. My people don't like this. The moment I spoke, he said, yes, I've heard. We are summoning him to come and give us reports about what he's been doing so far in the fight against Galamsey.
Galamsey, right.
When he was being called, it was difficult for him to reach him. Okay, now, you will hear me talking against him when I don't have access. If I had called and he had prevented me from talking to him, he would have heard me. Okay, now being hard at him. But I spoke to him privately and said, look, whatever you've said, I've heard, I'll avail myself. Do you want me to come and stand outside to be insulting him or to be criticizing him after I've been able to get his acceptance?
Yeah, right.
Or get a suggestion or, accepted by him? I won't do that. I am not a kid.
Yes.
We don't do some of these things just to be able to score political points. We do it for influence. Okay, so people are saying, well, he's no longer talking about Galamsey. I said, you see, the fact that you have not heard me speak does not mean I'm not doing anything. We do things for influence. Remember, let me tell you, we started the fight against Galamsey. How did we start it? When I was UTAG president, I'm going to hand over or leave the scene by the end of this month.
Right.
I told my people that we don't want to be heard only when it's about our salary and conditions of service.
Right.
Let us be heard about important national issues. That was why when you heard the flooding in some part of the Volta region and all that, I led my people to collect money.
Right.
We raised money. We raised some huge sums of money and went to donate to the flood victims. We did that, and just to make a point that we don't want to be heard always on strike because you're talking about conditions of service. We did that, and afterwards we tabled the idea about how our environment is being destroyed by Galamsey. And we issued several statements about it.
Right.
When we were not being heard, it was we, UTAG, who
This
went to
is
TUC
3FM.
and told them that we think you have a bigger platform. Around the time, don't forget that TUC had declared a nationwide strike
Yes, I remember
against the sale of snits. And when that yielded the effect, then we said that let us tell the government again that if you don't deal with Galamsey,
Right.
okay, we'll go on strike again. So we sent our matter there. Now, when there was back and forth, and later we realized that TUC was not willing to stay the course.
Right.
We had made proposals to government. Government had not listened to. Government had responded to us. When government responded to us, TUC told us that the response of government was unacceptable, and then so we should proceed with our strike. Okay, we're going to proceed with our strike, and then TUC came to tell us that government has brought a revised proposal as to how the problem could be dealt with. We went to meet with them, and the same proposal that they led us to reject was the same proposal that they were presenting to us.
Oh, wow.
We are not fools.
Wow.
We are not kids.
Wow.
Okay, we care for Ghana, and so when we clearly showed that they were not interested in the strike, we were not going to say that because they said they were not interested, we were never going to be interested, because we were the originators of the whole idea. And so that's how come we continued with that process. But when we were continuing with that process, we got to a point in time, and some of us realized that we were romancing a stone with that strike action. So I, Ransford Gyampo, I was the one who went to the UTAG neck and told them that, look, we are fighting to put pressure on government to do the right thing. But now there is no government. The government has collapsed. What do I mean by the government has collapsed? Parliament had collapsed. You remember the minority, majority, supermajority, the confusion between them in parliament.
Right.
That made them suspend parliamentary sitting for a long time.
Yes.
That was number one. So one leg of the government had collapsed. Number two, Akufo-Addo on many occasions was not even in the country. Number three, his vice president that we could have spoken to was always out of the country, in the hinterlands campaigning. The ministers that you could be appealing to, you call them and they tell you that, please, we beg you, we cannot come and meet with you because we are all campaigning.
Wow.
And so, were you going to sustain the strike? We are carrying on the strike for a certain effect. But when the effect was not being achieved, I was the one who went to UTAG NEC and made a proposal that let us call off the strike and do what? Call off the strike, and rather, when I proposed that, we all met together and then said, let us have a plan B. What's the plan B? Plan B is that make some proposals and then go and sign a pact with all the presidential aspirants that 3 months into the administration will see that they are taking initiative to address the menace of Galamsey.
Right.
We sent the pact to Dr. Baumia, he signed.
Wow.
We sent the pact to President Mahama, he signed. We sent the pact to all others, they signed. So after signing the pact, then we said, then let us call off the strike, because one of them, by all means, will win the election.
This is
when the NDC won, I was part of UTAG. We've been to the presidency to remind them about the pact that they signed first.
Right.
So if you've given somebody pact and you've given a dead timeline, And the time now, Lime hasn't elapsed.
No.
And the moment the person got into power, you've also gone as part of a delegation to speak to the person to remind. We told them, we are not interested in always being heard fighting with government. You sign this pact with us, we want you to stick to it. And the promise is that we will stick to it. Do you want me to come and speak outside?
No.
We don't do that. And so we are a NATO country. No action, talk only people. We are always NATOing. Talking. But if we are talking, we should be focused and be aimed and should focus our talking on bringing effect and desired results. So if you've not heard me talking, it's because we've gone to the president, we've reminded him, and we've seen what they've started doing. And UTAG NEC, National Executive Committee, is meeting in the next few days. And we have also summoned the minister to come and brief us what they are doing. And based on that, there will be questioning. Okay? If the questions are not, the responses to your questions are not satisfied, you will hear them speak. And you will hear some of us also speak. Because who in its rightful sense will say that we should allow our water bodies to be destroyed? Look, I was going to take a shower, and then I saw that the color of my water had turned into coffee.
Wow.
And I thought about it the whole day, and I prayed that it should be a problem with our plumbing system. And when they came to tell me that one of the pipe lines had burst, I started thanking God that at least there's a problem, a sun that had entered. But the whole day I couldn't do anything. So who in his rightful senses would want our water bodies to be destroyed and to be happy about that? If you have an opportunity to speak against it, you would not keep quiet if your head is properly screwed on. And so the point is this. Let me tell people, you see, some of us, our conscience is pricked by our convictions.
Right.
Our conscience is not pricked by political gossips and propaganda. Our conscience is not manipulated by what fake people say. You are a fake human being if yesterday you said that we should not fight Galamsey. And when you lost power, all of a sudden, you say we should speak against Galamsey. If we should speak against Galamsey, are you also not a Ghanaian? Why won't you speak? Why should it be Ransford Gyampo alone? Right. How about tomorrow if I'm not there? So if Galamsey, yesterday you said Galamsey was good. You had a whole medical doctor who went on air, on TV saying that Galamsey, they will not stop fighting it.
Unfortunately.
They won't stop fighting it, and there's nothing wrong. And a member of parliament openly said that, the water body has not been colored. It started coloring only during the regime of some. I mean, all those, excuse my language, nonsense. You said all those things. When we were calling on you to do it, you said you wouldn't do it. Now, suddenly, you lost power, and then you said, now we should fight it. I believe that Galamsey should be fought.
Yes.
I believe that we should address the challenges that is confronting us as a people with this menace of Galamsey. But the call should be made by people whose heads are properly screwed on.
Right.
The call does not lie in the mouth of those who just yesterday said that Galamsey should go on.
Yeah. Right.
And so we get offended, we get annoyed when we hear them. Oh, why are you not saying this? Why are you not? Are they also not Ghanaians? Don't they have mouths? Can they speak? This nonsense will stop.
This nonsense must stop. Ransford Gyampo, the professor of political science, University of Ghana. Oh my God, have mercy. He says we're a NATO country. Yes. No action, talk only nation. Oh my God, have mercy. Prof, tell me, do you think that TUC was bought off?
I'm a social scientist, and so I deal with evidence. This is what I saw.
Yes.
You have presented proposal XYZ to us, and you yourself, you have told us that we should proceed on our strike because proposal XYZ is not enough.
Right.
So we started proceeding the strike. Then the following day, you call an emergency meeting telling us that the presidency have brought extra additional proposals, and so let us come and consider it. Then we come before you. Even before you could tell us about the proposal, you had a prepared speech calling off the strike in your pocket.
Oh, wow.
And so you got up to address us, and in addressing us, you started saying that we are satisfied with the proposals and so we are calling off the strike. Then some of us draw attention to the fact that you said you are going to tell us the new proposal. You have not told us the new proposal. So why are you calling off the strike? Okay. So then they apologize for doing that. Then they table the new proposals, the so-called new proposals to us, and it was the same XYZ. And so, if you were in my shoes, what will you say?
I'll be tempted to think that you've been...
Well, so you do the deduction yourself. I don't have evidence to anything, but I've given you the facts of the matter. You deduce.
Interesting. I mean, I remember when this strike was called off, I was probably one of the very first to come on radio and praise UTAG and say that, hey, listen, my sister is also a professor in, one of those universities, GCTU. Yes. And in fact, they were on strike for 3 solid weeks. And I was excited because we all want Galamsey to come to an end. Galamsey is still raging on. Do you think there's an improvement?
I've seen what the government is doing. I've seen the revocation of some licenses, and I've seen that at least the minister is talking about it. I heard President Mahama saying that they should seize excavators and those earth-moving machines that are used in destroying the environment. They should not burn them and all that. At least I can see a certain will and effort and action compared to the situation precedent to this, where we were told in the face that we won't do it. We won't do it. And so if somebody says we won't do it, and somebody is doing something, regardless of how effective the action is, I will choose the person who is saying we'll do it. And you can see certain actions being taken over the one who says we'll never do it.
Nana Akufo-Addo asked for the burning of excavators and, frightening people with bullets and gunshots and all that on the Galamsey side. You think he didn't do enough?
Well, the point is that it was still going on. And regardless of what he said, I'm saying that to the extent that his appointees and some of the people closer to him openly said that, look, they will not stop it, it should continue. And some of them were attacking it. They're thinking that we're doing the bidding of some politicians and all that. I think that to the extent that he allowed all these utterances from his people, he didn't do well at all. Yes, initially he put his presidency on the line when Amewu was the minister of lands, and we all applauded him, we commended him, and I thought that President Akufo-Addo, he had an excellent opportunity to leave a positive legacy in maintaining the ecological the integrity of our ecology. He had that opportunity, and he had that opportunity to leave a positive, legacy by combating Galamsey, because look, here you are an old man. Number two, you are not going to contest an election again. So I thought that he could have used the opportunity to address the menace. But it appeared that he didn't care. At a point in time, he didn't care about his own legacy, if you look at some of the things that he did. So I want to hope and believe that President Mahama in his term, he will do much better. And to the extent that we've even summoned a minister. Look, we went for a NEC conference in Jirapa. We had spoken to the then Minister of Lands, Abu Jinapo. We had gotten an agreement. He said he was going to show up. I personally spoke to him. He said he was going to show up. The very day of the event, we called. He said he had traveled. Then we said that he should allow the Minerals Commission boss to come. Minerals Commission board too said, I can't come because I'm also not there. And at the last minute, they all disappointed us.
Interesting.
But if you have a government whose appointee is saying that if you are calling me, I'll come, wouldn't you be happy? And wouldn't you want to give a certain benefit of the doubt to see what they are doing, so that you can be able to know where the gaps and loopholes are, so that you can also make your views known to fill those gaps and loopholes? And so it's not that we are not talking. We want Ghana to work again, and we would speak against everything that is wrong in society, but our doing so is not contingent on the promptings of party fool soldiers who are paid 100 cedis a month to go on social media to be insulting people they are supposed to be learning from.
Interesting. Professor Ransford Edward Van Gyampo is my guest. I'm going to get some quick answers for these. What about 800 more questions to go? And the time is...
No, but won't you allow me to respond to a few things that I've seen people, I heard people talking about, about me. I mean, one, they said I've gone to buy some...
Land Cruiser and all that. Land Cruiser.
Land Cruiser. I've gone to buy, massaging chair, and then also I've sacked some 30.
Yeah, 30. I was going to go into that, but we can do that now.
You see, the point is this: when okay, let me. First of all, it is not true.
Yeah,
I have not gone to buy any
Land Cruiser.
Land Cruiser, if it will be purchased by the authority. They know when to buy it. At the moment, the CEO has no car. Okay, but before going there, I was driving my own Range Rover, 2024 edition, autobiography.
You are a big guy.
Jabobra.
Woo!
Okay.
What?
It is 2025 registered, customized in my name.
Lord,
and so, what can they even give to me that will pass that car?
None.
You understand?
Maybe
so,
private
I don't think so. So, I've not forced that they should buy me any such vehicle. Okay. When I went there, they told me that we have some old car for you, but please take it like that. But we have already made an arrangement 3 years ago to procure vehicles for all managers, including you. Okay, so that is what they are in the process of doing. When I heard people talk, I said, no, I'm not interested, so stop. And then they tell me that, Prof, it is not about you. It's about the authority, it's about the office. I said, no, I'm not interested. No. You don't detect what it is about you, and it's about the conditions. I'm still asking them to stop. Put that aside. They said I've gone to
sack some 30 students.
I've gone to sack some 30 workers who started working between 2017 to 2023. You see, I have not done that. If I want to do that, then you see, during the MPP administration, they were the one who staffed the place with a lot of people. I'm told that they were just about 62. They got there, and between that period, they have ballooned the numbers to over 150. Okay, so if I want to do that, then I would have sacked all of them. But me, Ransford Gyampo, I don't know how to do that. That's not my upbringing. I work with everybody. When I got there, I told them that I don't care which party you come from. I won't do NDC MPP politics here. What I demanded from them was loyalty, commitment, competence, and efficiency. If you can do this, we'll work. If you can't do this, I'll sack you. And so far, they have shown a lot of cooperation. And we are working together. I'm working with everybody.
Interesting.
Okay? So I have not done that. Unfortunately, those who are doing this, they do not, you see, they don't know the difference between Ghana Maritime Authority and Ghana Shippers Authority.
Yeah.
I'm told that Ghana Maritime Authority, in response to the directive of the Chief of Staff, that those who have been, who were recruited after December 7 should have their appointment revoked. The appointment of about 30 people. And suddenly, if it has happened in Maritime Authority, then they say it is me. No. At the Shippers Authority, we also complied with that directive. But in our case, it was just about 9 people. Okay? And even with that 9, we have seen that some of them, okay, they were contract staff.
Right.
They were contract staff. They had worked on contract for many years, and then just around the time that elections was got done, they had their contract turned into permanent, staff, and they were all included among that 9 staff. And so, just this morning, okay, I was in touch with my people. I was telling them, can we take a second look at some of these people who genuinely shouldn't have been affected? And we are doing. I am a human being. I have empathy. I know what is right. I do what is right. I don't do what is wrong.
That's correct.
And if my appointing authority has given a directive that people who were recruited a certain day should have their whatever contract revoked, who am I? Okay, I opposed it. Okay, because it even involved people at my own secretariat.
Right.
Okay, and I was not in the country when that directive came. I was traveling, and then my assistant called me and said, Prof, so I'm going. I said, why are you going? I'm part of those who, and I was worried. Okay, and it was, so it's just about 9, and it was just in response to the directive, I've not sacked any 30 people. Then the last one was I've gone to buy a massaging chair and put it in my office.
I saw that as well.
Put in my office. I mean, it's ridiculous. Okay, if I get money, that will not be what I'll buy. By the grace of God, before getting into this office, okay, I had something. I'm not your regular professor. Okay, I'm not your regular professor. I'm a teacher, but with a business mindset. I run my own consultancy called the Gyampo Consult. Okay, so if I have money, it's not that one that I'll buy. We had gone to, you see, I was cutting the thievery and the injurious contracts that have been signed. Okay, I'm cutting all of them. Some I'm renegotiating. I got some contractors who appealed that, look, please, can you just listen to us? Just listen to our side of the story. So we went into a meeting in a hotel. Went with all my managers. Let us go and listen to what they have to say. Afterwards, we were tired. Some of my managers said they want to go and walk. Others said they will go on gym. I was going to go to the gym, and I saw a chair there. I said, this chair is very big. What is it? At the reception, they told me that it's a massaging chair.
Oh, okay.
The one who did the video is the one sitting here. Look at him. He did it. Oh. It was a video. So I sat in it. He started videoing the entire building up to where I was seated. Okay, and I was the one who posted it on my own WhatsApp status. Then somebody went to look at the video. It got to where I was sitting. I took a screenshot of it, put it out there that I have
bought a massaging chair.
But let me tell you this: all these are as a result of one thing. They said, listen to me carefully. They said that I, Ransford Gyampo, I'm the one who made the MPP lost the 2024 elections. So if that is the case, then they would be attacking me. Number one, let them know that as for me, I am unattackable. Okay, my body is resilient, so I don't care about attack. But what I want to say is that if me, one person, a small boy, small man like me, if I am deemed to be powerful enough to push a government that has state machinery at its disposal, a government that has all resources at its disposal, if I'm powerful enough to push them out of power, then I should be super powerful to help maintain them in opposition in perpetuity, because now they don't have money. Now they don't have the power. Now they don't have the state machinery at their disposal. And so now that they are in opposition, if they think that I am the one who caused the electoral defeat, and so then they will be doing some of these propaganda against me. I'm telling them that as for me, I don't like to fight, but I don't hate to fight. And so I'll fight back. As much as possible, I'll ignore. But if I have to hit back at them, I will hit it harder.
You will.
And let me say this. When Fifi Kwete was the propaganda secretary of the NDC, a lot of the guys in the MPP, they didn't like it. But the guy, Fifi Kwete, went about his trade by setting the record straight with intelligence and wisdom. The kind of propaganda that is being done today by people who have run Ghana aground only betrays their level of intelligence.
Interesting. Professor Ransford Gyampo, please, would you have taken an appointment under Nana Akufo-Addo?
If he had called and asked me to serve, I would have gone to serve. The point is this. The sensible, if I am president of Ghana, please listen to me carefully. You see, when it comes to medicine, you know that you cannot just get up and say you want to be a doctor. When it comes to law, you cannot just get up and say you want to be a lawyer. Okay, when it comes to banking or other trades, you need some expertise. But when it comes to politics and governance, you
need nothing.
But you go to school to study it. There are the do's and don'ts. Okay, I've studied it. Now, if I am a president of Ghana, in a developing country like Ghana, it will be my responsibility to assemble the best brains to help me govern. And so if I come and you, Blakk Rasta, I think that you know how to do something well, I'll have to bring you on board. Your support for a particular candidate in the lead up to election must not guarantee your place in the government. The fact that you went to insult people, the fact that they beat you, the fact that they threatened to arrest you, the fact that they arrested you, the fact that you funded that party, are not enough requirements to be considered in a place, giving you a place in the government.
Right.
You support candidates because you know that they have what it takes to assemble a certain government, to put in place a machinery that will better and improve the lots of the people. And so it is up to every president to look at the manpower resources of the country and to assemble the right caliber of people to help you government. If they are in your party, appoint them. If they are not in your party, go to wherever they are and appoint them. And so for me, I don't believe in thinking you can do something and then they ask you to come and do, you say you do it. If I can do it, and I believe I can make an impact, whoever calls me, I'll go and serve. It's a service to nation.
Were you ever considered as a running mate for the NDC, John Mahama?
I won't talk about that. I don't want to talk about that.
You don't want to?
Yeah.
Would you have accepted it?
I won't talk about it. If I won't talk about that, I don't want to. maybe not for now.
This is 3FM.
In future, if there is such an offer and I feel qualified, listen to this. In future, if there is such a, let me tell you this. President Mahama, the first time he contacted me was in the lead up to 2016 elections that I should be the MP of Mfantsman. I turned it down. The second time was when Boache Chairman Ting Ejakon died. I was in the UK, the University of Bristol, as a visiting scholar there. He called me to go and contest that seat. I told him, President Mahama, I'm not an NDC man. He told me that he's not looking for an NDC man to contest. He's looking for a Ghanaian who has what it takes to win that seat and to serve his people better. But I thought I was not ready. And so whether I was contacted or not contacted is contingent on how ready I was at the time. And even if I will be contacted tomorrow, it will depend on me whether I think I'm ready or I'm not ready. That would be the deciding factor.
That will be the deciding factor, Professor Ransford Gyampo. What's your salary as a university professor, Ransford?
No, but why should I tell you that? You don't tell me your salary.
Oh, I thought it was in the public for everybody to see.
Well, I mean, if you go to the university, they'll tell you. But I don't think it is right for me to come and be talking about those. Who talks about his salary like that? You want me to humiliate or embarrass myself?
Are you rich? Gyampo Consultancy, are you rich?
By the grace of God, I can afford the basic necessities of life.
Interesting. Okay, so Ghana is going to be playing Chad today. Who are you rooting for?
Ghana. We're going to be playing Chad today.
Yes.
With
at 7 p.m.
Which team?
The Blakk Stars of Ghana. And then
Blakk Stars, do they exist? I don't know.
Wow.
Do they exist? I'm asking you.
Well, the Blakk Stars are here, led by Otu Ado.
I think, you see, now we have a lot of pressures on our mind. And supporting or thinking about the Blakk Stars gives you more pressure. So I would rather they go and win, and then I would be jumping, and I'll take my saucepan and be hitting kung 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 to celebrate. But I will not put my hope and my heart, in them, so that I don't get myself too worried.
There's some former appointees of the last government and some politicians like that you think by now should be in jail.
It should be based on evidence and what they have done. Okay, so Oral has done some work, and if the work and further investigation show that people are jailable, so be it. I hear so many people are looking at me, they are watching me, they are thinking I'm going to fail, and it's laughable because this is my policy. I'm not going to be stealing state's money. I'm not going to cause financial loss to the state. These are two things. I will not steal state's money, and I'm not going to cause financial loss to the state. If I'm going to avoid these two things by coupled with the fact that I'm working with everybody who was sidelined in my organization, I'm working with all of them, and so they are giving me all kinds of information and advice and support.
Interesting.
Then I don't see the point. And so if they are jailable, so be it. There should be no Atamelsian tendency on the part of President Mahama. It was Atamels who prevented people from being thrown into jail. And later, it was used as a campaign message. If we were corrupt, why was it that they couldn't jail us? And so today, if people are found to have run afoul of our laws and they have done things in corruption and all that, and the law says they should be sentenced, I mean, who am I to say no?
Prof, I'm going to ask you for a part 2 because I have about 750 more questions to go.
I would love to be here because
oh my God.
I love to talk. I mean, I told you that you can take away money from me.
Oh my
deprive
God.
me of everything. But if I can talk, I would love to talk.
I've enjoyed every bit of this interview. But finally, Prof, tell me, educate me. Do you take 2 salaries as a professor and also as an appointee of the president?
Yeah, it will be illegal, and so I don't do that. When I got to my new post, so last month, when I got to my new post, I was not expecting to be paid because I gave the university a period within which I will be able to fully leave on secondment, and I've even changed my mind now. Even though I'll be on secondment, I'm willing to teach every morning for free. I'll not take anything because I love to teach. And so I think last month I was not expecting a salary, but they paid me.
Wow!
Once they paid me, the next day I saw another alert from the University of Ghana. I quickly ordered that they should refund that money. So
wow.
They paid back, and then I wrote to them telling them that I cannot be taking double salary. And so they were also expecting that they would stop their salary at the time that I would be totally gone from them. But they were paying me because I was not gone. But I told them that, fortunately, my new place has started paying me, and so they shouldn't. So I wrote to them, don't pay me. But the first one they paid, it got there in the mid-morning. Around 11 a.m. I had an alert. By 2 p.m. I'd paid the money back to them.
Interesting. Prof, you are an honest man, aren't you?
I try.
You try.
Yeah, I am a human being, so I cannot play God here.
Are you religious?
I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm a Christian who is trying to work out my own salvation with fear and trembling, and I know that I'll go to heaven. And when we go to heaven, we see those who profess Christianity but did things privately that were not pleasant to God, and those of us who are seen to be devils but who will be in the bosom of Abraham.
Hallelujah. do you speak in tongues?
Oh, and so I go to Pentecost, so I speak some.
You speak some tongues. Oh wow, I love that. So, Professor Ransford,
don't ask me to speak it, please. I won't mind you.
It's a tongue-speaking Christian. Oh, my producer is on my neck. You know, we have the Gobe Festival. My producer wants me to ask you if you love Gobe. Gobe, do you?
That's my favorite food. I ate some before coming here. It's here every day. I eat it. That's my favorite food. It's a food that when you say it's your favorite, people don't like. People don't want to talk about it. But it's my favorite. Unfortunately, I don't know what is happening to me these days. These days, if I eat it, then I get some noise in your stomach. In my stomach. But you see, maybe it's the nature, the way and manner I like it. I don't like it. I don't like a picture. I like it the concrete one. Okay, ooh. You do it and then you stir it and leave it to dry. Okay, then subsequently it will be water, and then you are done. Healthy diet.
You like it with eggs, or you like it?
It is with egg and pear and cocoa and pepper.
Wow! So yeah, got back on top of the game. My God have mercy. Prof, I want to say thank you so much. I appreciate you. But before we go, the apology. I don't know, what did you hear that you didn't like so that I can apologize?
No, you insinuated about this useless and bogus attempt to silence me through what the BBC did. And I thought that you could have just called me. And then the other bit, Koko Ayundo himself, we've had conversations, and he's told me that, my brother, I won't let it happen again. So you are coming on air.
Wow.
Okay, so when somebody told you that I'm sleeping in a massaging chair and all that, you could simply have found out from me. Okay, you see, in the age of social media, so many things happen. People say a lot of nonsense, but if you are coming on air on this particular network, it's too huge and credible. So I would plead that let us not go with social media. Those who said that I've sacked 30 people, I'm looking for one person who did that, so I'll take the person on at appropriate places. But I'm not finding anybody. I've commissioned people to be looking for just that one person for me, so that he will prove to me that I did that. I can't find it. And so my point is that if you cannot authenticate, and I'm just a phone call away from me, rather than running down people, let's approach what we say based on social media reportage with some trepidation. Otherwise, we will be doing these things to ourselves and we'll always be fighting. Meanwhile, we may be friends. Yeah. So if you had reached out to me, I would have told you that it is not true. I descended on them just 3 days ago. When they said I had bought that chair, I didn't mind them. When they said I had at the Land Cruiser thing, I didn't mind. But what really got to me was this
massaging chair.
The fact that I sacked
30,
people that I'm working with, that I sacked them, and some of them reached out to me. So, Prof, is it something that you're about to do or what? I said, why? Okay, that was how come then I fired them. Go on social media. I told them my mind, and I'm telling them that if they think that I'm that powerful to push them out of power, then I'm super powerful.
Yeah, I saw your Facebook post this morning.
To keep them in opposition, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
And so I would urge some of you that under the ages of social media, okay, there's a lot of deceit, there are a lot of lies, and people say all manner of things. Social media, you can do everything. I am still there because on Sundays I share the word of God there. Otherwise, I realize that I'm too busy. And so I may have to even pull out, because sometimes you go and you see some of the things that people manufacture. You can do everything on social media, including turning a man into a woman. And I'm saying that if that is the case, some of you, when you hear some of these things, you should cross-check so that you may not be maligning people unnecessarily.
But Prof, we're really supporting you.
Well, I know, but but the point is that you fed on what Koko Ayundo said. I called him. I called him Bra. I said, Bra, are you not my senior brother? Why are you saying this?
Oh, you spoke to him.
I spoke to him. He told me that it will not happen again. That's what it is. It will not happen
because we
again.
really condemned what he said, and we gave you all your flowers.
Yeah.
And in fact, you are a very... Anyway, I leave it here. But I'm looking forward to us having gobe together one of these days. You know, once you love gobe, I like mine very soft. And
that one is like stew. We are eating your Kogaya's woody for it. Stew. And go and add kinke to it. Add kinke to it.
Okay. All right, Prof. I want to say thank you so much for talking to us. We've enjoyed this. We're going to do a part 2 of this. But I'm going to find out when you are a little free so we can look at some of these things.
No problem.
Trust me, the numbers online, if you go out there and
I know,
check.
I'm told you hyped and all that.
God.
And so that is what I'm telling the MPP. Me, I have followers. I have followers and listenership.
And you can keep them in a position. In perpetuity.
Let me not say that I'm not God.
This is 3FM.
I'm not God.
Thanks so much, Prof.
It is my pleasure.
End with any song that you want me to play, reggae song.
Robert Nesta Mali. The one that dun 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 dun. Then
What?
dun 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 dun. Oh yeah. Dun dun dun. Oh yo.
I think you should release an album. You have a